And here we are getting close to the park and about to do the intro on this Saturday, January 2022, and getting closer, almost to the parking spot. This is SJX AG and we are about to go. Let's see what we got here. You are here. We are at Satwiwa Native American Indian Culture Center. And we are, Circle Ranch is here, and Zuma, of course Malibu's down this way, over here actually. And we have Point Mugu State Park. So we're starting here at the Satwiwa Native American Indian Culture Center. So today it might rain, so I brought a raincoat just in case. And I haven't decided what I was going to talk about on this trip, but there's plenty to talk about because I got a pre-hike to get an idea what it's like, and it's pretty good. So today we're going to take it on a rainy day. And there's a lake back here I saw as well. This is Newbury Park, California, by Thousand Oaks. Still in Ventura County, California. Just want to give a shout out to Red Monkey Designs and Red Monkey Lifestyle. It's a cool hat. Anyway, we're going through here. It's starting to dry up from the rain. You saw my last video, it was raining, so you still got some rainwater there left over. And there's these trenches, and you'll see them as we walk up here. You're going to see them. The different trenches is pretty cool. Let's get this shot. It's pretty beautiful here. This opening to the trail, and then it starts to open up wider. As we go in closer. Now this goes down to Point Mugu, and that way is a naval base. Or used to be. There's a museum down there too. And I'm going to cover that in the part 2 of this video. There's several places at different angles to get into these hikes. Now you can take this all the way to the ocean. The ocean is that way. And so you can take that over. But I'm not doing that today. But I will go further than I did yesterday. Because I don't have anybody with me. I'm by myself, so. But there's an incredible view as we get up here and get to the top of the hill. We won't be seeing any houses anymore. Hope you had a good New Year. And I had a good one. It seems to be going better. I want you to subscribe and like. Getting more subscribers here on the SJX AG vlog. This is SJX AG. Welcome to the show. Here we are. Let's go. And we are moving forward. Newbury Park, California. I got an energy drink with me. I got something to drink, so that's good. Anyway, when you get up here, we're going to go up a big hill. Not a real big one, but decent. And then after you get the view at the top of that, right there, this is still like a valley because the mountains block the ocean air, and so you get warmer weather here. But as you get further that way, there's the mountains end for a while, and it's much cooler, 10 degrees cooler. So right now it's 64 Over there it's going to be 54. Anyway, here we go. Money ran back here, and there's a street here that connects all the way over to Westlake Village, which is kind of cool. There's some good trails in there, nice houses. And here we go, we're headed up that hill. See those two people there? That's where we're headed. So, see at the top of the hill, or maybe halfway through it. Okay, we're halfway through, continuing up. I was thinking about, I'll tell you at the top. Whew. We're coming up to the top of the hill. And you see this view as you're coming up. And we're almost flat again. And then usually what happens for me is once I do that, then I'm good for the day. Just that beginning is a little rough. Now, if I go down this way, there's a lake. And then, but I haven't tried up here. So, let's see first what's up here. 'Cause this ain't as steep as that, but we can get a good view here. And we can always go down, cut over to the right. Good for me. Now, from what I understand, if you go up this way, it takes a day to get there. And if you come up the backside, like 3 to 4 hours. But if you come up the backside, it takes an hour. Which you can reach by taking PCH. As you can see, so definitely getting the second wind. Feels good. Now you can see that this trail is going to cut us up that mountain right there. So today, I think on part 1, we'll head down this one. So we're going to cover that another day because this could be an hour just going this way. But we got to think of what to talk about. And I got to tie my shoes. Stand by. We're going to tread down here, off-roading. Shoes are tied. Now, it seems to be interesting down there. Let's try down that way. However, we might get stopped this way. In other words, it's a little bit wet, but not too much. There might be water on there. Because that's where the water goes down in there. The deepest cracks into the valley, into the creeks, to the rivers, which could be rivers. Creeks can turn into rivers if it gets enough rainwater. Looks like one of these. However, it's temporary, so could try there, but let's just try it. See what happens. It's going to be water, and unless there's just something going across it, this is not a trail. So, however, it does look to be a trail down that way. Go this way. Yeah, I mean a trail, but you have to get across. We'll try it. I'm gonna go this way because yeah. Have a look. Yeah, it's water, see? Of course it is. Seems to be like going over that way. It'll be easier. Now when you got long pants on, this kind of thing is too rough. There's no water. It's going to be an easy cross, and there's a trail right there. So, slide a little bit. Go up that way. Let's go up this way because this stuff is like, let's go under here. Let's go under here. Swing under there. The only thing about doing this without gloves, I'm just going to show you. I have the gloves with me. Spilt a little bit to drink. Let's have a drink. Time out. Get through there, luckily. And there's no water in it. It's already empty. Now remember, in my last video, if you check it out on the SJX AG YouTube channel here, you'll see that was these crevices in the city, not too far from here, say about 7 miles. In the Thousand Oaks area I covered, we're loaded with water, but there is a lake down this way, so that's where we're going. But gives you an idea, a little crossover off pass. Now when you're doing that, you can slide. It's not safe, it's not recommended, but if you do it, better to have gloves, because I did it, and I mean, you're not getting any severe cuts depending, but get some good scratches, you know, which no big deal. But I'm just saying, with the gloves you won't have any scratch. So here we are. And from what I understand, if you try to go up this way, and I don't know, but I'm told that you have to go through the brush, which is interesting to me. Today we're going to go on the regular trail and just show that, because it would be, that's common sense, show off what you would experience on a casual hike here. In regards to, we could talk about films again, or movies, or we could talk about the history of SJX AG, the AG. I'm still on my Insta and other pages posting some of my classic photography, art, and story work. I think it's a possible tie-in, but I need to be monetized as number one on this YouTube network, so therefore I'm making it more about the hiking. Yeah, it's starting to get some sweat going on the head because of the hat, but I can take the hat off for a while. I just don't want my hat to get any of this drink on it, so I'm probably going to wear it for now until the drink's gone. So anyway, now we're headed down in this path, and there's more people today because it's a Saturday. Yesterday there was nobody here, basically. But I had my family with me. Just going. Hi.
Hi.
Here there's some water, and then there's also a cabin. But it's a little bit more post-apocalyptic feeling during the week. Alright, this is SJX AG, and we just took a break. Got rid of the hat and the drink, and had to change a battery. So I went off the road a little bit. There's a rabbit. There. He's like, what's this guy doing? What's this guy doing? Alright, so let's continue. And anyway, so here we're back on the trail. Got some people going up there, that way, up to Point Mugu State National Park. It's quite a ways to the ocean, probably, I don't know. My guess would be miles, 10 miles walk. But today we're headed out because I want to show you some of the normal places you hit first, and then we can go off trail. You look at those bushes from this distance and you say, is it really like that? And it is. Plus it's going up. And then you have loose dirt, rocks. which you can lose your footing a little bit sometimes. Or you could want to lose your footing and go down, depending on what's below you. You don't want to go into cactus. You don't want to hit big rocks and break your tailbone or something. So, as you can see, no houses. Look, here in California. We're about 40 minutes from LA. Some rock to sit on. It's good. You could probably sit there too. You need to take a break. It's dry. The ground is still a little bit wet, not here. But you can see it, the soil. Usually it's real light, so it's a little bit damp, but not too much. But if you sat on it, it wouldn't stick to your pants. And since we don't have the rain to talk about, and what's going on with weather, we're going to have to talk about, look at this bird. We're going to talk about, not have to, but we're going to talk about, probably, we could talk about movies, we could talk about AG history, we could talk about particular storylines that are continuing, you know, adding on to the story that was there. I'm a storyteller guy. Anyway, we're coming up on water. It's a little wet down here, right? Step on this and over, and then across this board, hit it in the center. So anyway, I could talk about YouTubers I watch. I could talk about all of that kind of stuff. Celebrities and that I've met. People I've met from the theatrical side of the business, let's say. I had a theatrical deal at one point for midnight movies, an independent distributor. I had only one for that during that time I was doing it. Of course, I had DVD and distribution rights for streaming offers and some I made, deals I made in the past. Stuff I shot over the 2000s period, which we're still in, you could say, but I'm talking 2000 to 2010. Of course, 2011 to 2020. Right. Now this is all, when those cracks and the rain comes down from all these mountains, it's going to here. So this is formed here. Now I don't know if this is always here, because I don't always come here, but I was here yesterday, and when the light hits it, it looks kind of nice. Right now it looks like it's muddy because it's just reflecting the color from the background. But when it's a blue sky, it's really like crystal clear. And then we're going to go to an Indians park here, which is up this way. And there's a hut down here. I guess the first thing I think of when I see jungle, for some reason, Predator jumps in my mind. Sometimes, because when that movie came out when I was a kid in the 80s, I went to go see it and rode my bike like 15 miles with two friends. Okay, so we're coming in on this. Yesterday my mom wants to take a picture right here. I'm standing in here. And I says, I'll just shoot it tomorrow. So, here we are. Ow. Something you got to do, it makes the thumbnails cool. You know, I am expanding on certain storylines on my multiple pages. So sometimes in the past, I would do photos, do a story with pictures, and hi. I would do a story with pictures, photography, and I didn't do that story on video. There's a few times. So I have an opportunity now to adapt on that story, make it into a slideshow, possibly reshoot it as if a movie. A lot of stories I did in photos. Okay, here's where we're coming up on the cabin. This is the Satwiwa Native American Indian Natural Area. Sorry if I'm not saying that right. Satwiwa Loop Trail. 6 miles. You can see here, Satwiwa Native American Indian Culture Center. it's open. I'm just gonna sit here. Let's check out the view. Right. There's a person on a horse right there. It's SJX AG, and we are chilling on the porch at the Satwiwa Indian Trails and Cultural Center. Which is pretty cool. Take off here. I'm gonna head up here and see what the sign says. Boney Mountain is a sacred spiritual area, a shaman's retreat, and a place for vision quests. It's a place for meditation. Up this way. Maybe we'll off-road it over to the People Trail. The thing about talking when you're on a hill and you got wind, you can get dry mouth. What is up here and around the bend? Hi. Continue on, and then we're going to think about what topics. This is why the comment section is important that we can talk about. And of course, I'm looking at YouTube comments because the comments I'm getting on my Instagrams and various pages are different. We have a fire department coming over here. It passes. Video of that. Wow. All right, cool. We jump on the back of there and cheat our way in and get no exercise. We have to get some exercise because in order to be an action general requires motion, not just giving the orders. Now I can give the orders. I'm good at that. And I know what to do, especially if I know the story and what I got the vision for. Okay, so, but in this particular, we got to stop storyline and say, hey, here's the sign. Point McGee State Park entrance. And let's make it down at least to that water tower and see what's over there. Now you got a fence here. So once you enter in this, they want you to know you're at Point McGoo. What's that over there? Probably something else. Get a different label. Marching forward, and I will continue that story, talking about the future, what I'm going to be doing. I can't give up, of course, everything, because mystery is good, and there will be some suspense. I don't want to just say, this is what I'm going to do, and then you go, I know what he's doing now. So let's just leave it as that. Now, as you know, I was a photographer, director, you may or may not know. Pretty successful, hundreds of millions of views, hundreds and billions. Million per day for a long time, maybe 10 years. Glamour photography. And, I was known for shooting military equipment, guns, flamethrowers, all that kind of stuff. Fun stuff. Military, kind of like the AG, Anyway, and I'm planning on revisiting some of these locations, but we're coming up on a view, so stand by, check it out. With this, I'm not sure I'm going to head actually down it. Because this, I think, Boney Mountain Trail, I might go up that though, would be good for, once I start to head down there, you want to be here, this is 2 o'clock now. Well, it's 1:20. You're going to have to walk back up that. And it does seem like a good bike path. But as you can see, as you get closer, that treading this mountain is exactly what the guy said. Not so easy because slip. Can it be done? Sure. It can be done. But you're looking at maybe, who knows how many hours with breaks to get there. So it's a 6 a.m. beginner starter. Let's get the sign before we walk out. No, you are here. No e-bikes. Wow. Enjoy your journey. Maria and Fritz. this sign is down. So if you continue down this way, you'll hit the ocean eventually. I don't know what you'll see along the way, but yeah, it goes all downhill. And then if you were to turn around and walk up it. But we're going to do that on another video. I'm going to check the trail out. So let's go back. Actually, the way back to the car is that way, that trail right there. But let's not do that. We're going to go this way. And we're going to see if we can maybe do a little off. Now, in regards to having a partner, travel partner, say there's one more advanced, I'm going to just do it, you know. He's going to go and I'm going to go, okay, let's go. But I'm being careful in my solo and being thinking about the time, because I do have someone in the car waiting. But they have these trails that, so you go like this instead of going straight up. And it gets fun once you're, I know this kind of thing, once you start getting up. Definitely gonna do hiking, because I enjoy it more than a treadmill. I enjoy it because the content, also for my storytelling and imagination, to tie it in, the stories I've done. As I said, you never know when we'll bump into some AG, because there's plenty of AG out here. But official AG, the old school style, glamour. From what I understand, and I'm learning, unless you're getting, once you get to that mountain of subscribers on YT, definitely it's interesting to me. If you're at 500,000 and further, where you're putting out a video and it's at 100,000, say, overnight at least. That is interesting. If you're putting out a video and I see it, you're getting to like 50,000 over. Depends on some videos, maybe they get to 50,000 in 5 days. But basically your breadline is 50,000, 70,000. I know what that is. I've heard the income. And sure, it's something you can make a living doing. But it's still kind of low budget compared to anything I was doing. Worthwhile, you know, when you have a budget and you can hire people to do your marketing, promotions of your posts. But it's also fun to do, to see what you can do on a limited budget. And I've always done that. And I've always succeeded at it. So, in a quick amount of time. So, but I am dealing with a network at this point. I'm not just completely independent. There's a community here. And that's why I ask you to welcome me in. I'd be more than happy to collaborate with you, so I can get to be at where I would like to be in a little bit faster time than if I do it all solo. Because if I do it all solo, as long as people keep coming, I'll tell some stories as we get about my hiking experience as a kid. Let's just go down a little bit here, into here. I'm not going all the way down, but let's just scrape across here. Now this is pretty easy. But like I said, once you get down there, you gotta come back up, which is good exercise. So, be a perfect opportunity. But I want to continue to cover up in here and see what the trail gives me. But, because maybe I'll just go straight back up and then, you know. But let's continue to talk about, so as a kid, I'll tell you some of my kid stories. Scott stories, is Scott. Not just the guy you knew or grew up with. The time I grew up on the internet when it was just starting. We could talk about that, and that's always fun. But let me talk about before that. The pre-Scott, the pre-Scotty, the pre-SJX AG, the Scott, before there was a Scott. Yeah, I used to walk. I grew up in the country, Michigan, and my parents both worked. And you know what? We're getting a lot of wind. Why didn't I notice that before? And we're going to walk up in here. It's not windy here as much. And start just heading up that hill, but which is how I always did it as a kid. And that's why my legs were in incredible shape as a kid. From riding bikes on average 10 miles a day, 20 miles a day. 30 miles was unusual. And walking long distances through nature, because we had on 11 acres, and pretty much everyone around me where I grew up, neighbors, had, our houses are far apart. Let's park here, it's not too wet. So what we're looking for is the mask, which is in my bag, buried a little bit. Why can't there just be rocks to sit to relax on? But, and we can talk about walks I did, which I shouldn't, but I did get chased a few times through the woods and never got caught. But you got to know the terrain, or you have to have a lot of experience going in these off-road things to be able to run through it and quickly spot things. If you try to run through here, for example, you try to run through here. We didn't have mountains where I'm from, so we don't have to worry about, so you have to be careful here and sliding down. But I remember running as a kid, running through, not knowing. Well, I knew the place, I knew the area. And I could just go fast, boom, 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 through the country, off-road. But you're not doing it. As much as it's tempting, that trail's way down there, and we came from here. So let's go over this way again. Because I walked off here so I could find a place to sit, to put this mask on for the sound, for the wind. So you got a lot of purposes for these masks. They can be used for keeping warm. Get one that keeps you warm. Plus, if you go, someone says you have to wear a mask for the COVID thing, right? Plus, you use it for your camera. In survival situations, these have multiple purposes. Hiding your identity is another one. So it's not always just one-way street here. Okay, we're gonna cut down. Whoa! Now, if your shoes are tied good, it really helps. It ain't gonna happen. You're gonna end up not in a good situation, probably. If you're running, I mean. And I do not suggest running through here, no. But will I tell you that I run through the forest when I had to? Sure. Someone's chasing me. And I've done it. So what we're going to do today, next time in part 2, we're going to head up that ridge and see where that takes us. We probably even have to do, on this video, we could potentially go 5-part series through this area. And I think that would be covering it properly, because there's a lot to talk about, there's a lot to do, and there's lots of ways. But we'll pick up the video where we left off. We won't be shooting the intro as much, because that would be boring. Let's at least go down this way and up to there, where that guy is, and see what we're seeing from there. And then we'll head back. I used to run the country. Several occasions I run. And I go, or I'm just going quick, going to a friend's house, which is not the action kind of story that you may want. Now, if you want more of these crazy chase stories, of course, you go in the comments and ask, and I'll say fans are requesting some of the SJX AG adventures before Scotty. Who was Scotty before that? Like, what did he do as a youth, high school youth, or a teenager? And I'll tell you some more. Well, some of the basic story. Now, when I run into people, I still have a tendency as a vlogger, because I'm probably, I don't know, to kind of not talk as I run into people. But if I get no people around, I really can go on a talking. Or if I... Whoa! That's a footprint. As you can see, we're going to go across this way. Now, if you were to run across this way, you may fall down, because you got to pick up your feet. It's pretty big if you're trying to run across this. This looks pretty simple to do, but you would have to definitely pick up your feet and your bags and cameras. It's a little bit more difficult. We're going to cross country back to the main trail because we're going to end up with over an hour's of footage, which is plenty for this video. But you just want to watch out for holes. Now, I thought it reminds me, see? I've been doing that lately. Yeah, I got big holes here. So, I'm not used to that in Michigan. We don't have as many holes. Of course, we don't have mountains, so these are big holes. Wait a minute. If you do not want to run through here, look at this. You have to know those things, though. But if you're used to it, you could, and you can see things real good, quick. Then you can see it as you're coming through it. You're not going to have any swamp in here. There's no swamp, so you can't sink. It's another thing to think about that's happened to a friend of ours in Michigan who died walking home drunk, and he sunk in a swamp. I don't know how. I walked home many times before after drinking, and not many a times, 5 or 6 times, but I didn't have any problem. But I knew the terrain very, very well, and getting to know the terrain, then you know, okay, we can run through here. That's something you do on a movie. You know, let's say you got a stunt action going on here. You have to pre-check it. Okay, to run this route, do not run over there because you're going to fall in a hole. But you don't know that until you check the terrain. So checking the terrain is important. Now we're going to keep cutting across to keep away from all the people. I was going to talk to you, about the future for what I want to do. So, right now, I am hiking. Okay, we got to watch out for mud now. So, this is cool. I'm going to walk this way. I'll kick the dirt off later, but... So, I'm starting with hiking right now. And it's not only for you as a viewer, check out this area. Of course, I'm doing the area around me, which is local at the moment. When I get requests for particular areas, I will do that. But for right now, I'm sticking. I do have requests to go to Beverly Hills, requests to go to Hollywood, requests to go to Venice Beach, which I will do. But for right now, I'm trying to cover what's close to where I'm living. I do enjoy hiking a lot. So, and there's just a lot of hiking spots in the city areas. I used to hike in Santa Monica, and you could get in there for days. I mean, if you went over there, and then you're looking at the gas. See, now when we hit this big trail, we could have someone in front of us the whole thing, and they're listening. So I'm going to start editing my conversation. But here we are in a community, everybody's listening. And I go, well, what about the people here? Well, they're following here. They're subscribed here, so they like it. They like something. Now, there are people here. Everybody's having their own conversation, sure. Everybody. Okay, back to the hiking. So will I go to Hollywood? Will I go to restaurants? Will I go to Europe? Will I go to Russia? Will I go to the Ukraine? Will I go? Yes. The answer is yes. Probably going to go around here first. Will I stay in California for a little bit? Yeah. Why not? So we're going to cross that again. This time we're going to cut over to the right. So will I do that? Yeah. I will. And you have videos there. You know, my history is shooting in elegant places. I shot, just so you know, when I was doing photography, glamour photography, I shot in Bel Air, Hollywood Hills, multiple days, Pacific Palisades, beautiful places. These are places that I trying to remember. I would rent houses sometimes back then. I had a budget, and some of them I rented were people that were in the movie industry, some people that had won Oscars, and some people that are singers, shot at their homes. And it's great. I love it. Great. And you start to, when you're doing that on a regular basis, you start to see everything. You know, you see all the greatest luxuries, and you just compare it. You go, well, that's not like this house, not like that house, and you start to become not surprised by it, not in shock about luxury. So people, look at this $10 million home, 20 million or 50 million or whatever. Just lost the battery, had to rechange, so I lost my rant a little bit. We're headed back up the hill. We're headed back to the car, and we'll head that way on part 2 and see what we can get to. And then if we can't get anywhere, we'll start earlier. You have to start early here if you're gonna go there. Anyway, I can't remember the rant I was doing. See, that's why I keep recording and talking. The thread. New cucumber. Really. So we got more people here. Alright, I'm gonna just cut from it. Remember the particular rant I was on by the future of the channel. Now we're hitting major wind. Pretty sure it's blocked. Not sure. I can see why she has that water bottle. You start talking, and the wind's going right in your mouth. It dries up your lips, the inside of your mouth. It's easier to talk down there when you're in the shrub, bush, because the bush protects you from the wind. I got another hole here. So, most likely this video will be wrapping up soon. And the next video, most likely, will be continuing there. And if it's not, it's somewhere else. It's somewhere else. But I will be doing a part 2 over there, part 3, part 4, coming up on this channel, because it's worth it, and I'm interested. I'm curious, and I know you are, to know what's on the other side, to know what the view is up there, to know the different angles of hitting it. But it's not. This is why things I can understand. Going solo makes sense. You get up when you want. You do what you want. You get your routine, and it works. And it's frustrating if you go once you start as a vlogger. If you start shooting, and then you go walking with a friend of yours, and they don't want you to record, and then you're like, "Well, I could have gotten it yesterday. It's already there." But they want the time with you to talk. Now, 2 vloggers doing it, I would imagine, especially because you can separate, get some honky-talkies maybe, would be fun, because each guy's got a camera, each guy's talking in it, everybody's kind of understands it, and they don't want the narrative to be like all at once. So, and it's cool for the viewer, because it's kind of like a team op. It's like those games, Call of Duty, co-op missions. So, I'll be interested to do co-op missions with other people, and that's going to be good fun. But, as I said, you got to be working your way up to this, especially depending on your shape. I mean, you don't have to work your way up. If you work out in the gym every single day, you're probably going to be okay here. Other than you could be wobbly and not have a good balance. There is something to be said about wet terrain, holes in the ground you might not notice. That at the gym ain't going to change that. But your stamina is going to be good from the gym, or whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be the gym. It could be just mowing the grass by hand or something. Not on the tractor though. But the push mower is pretty good. It's a good start. Depending on how much you got to cut. But we had to cut 5 acres, probably 4 to 5 acres out of our 11. 6 were just weed. We had paths. We didn't use it. We ended up selling that property. My parents, we moved out here to Thousand Oaks. They're still alive, and they're late 70s now. And now they have like not even a quarter acre, you know. But it's okay. We got a garage in the back and stuff. Anyway, so the plan is to continue to do travel, like in hotels, sure, in Airbnb, sure, using apps, Expedia, whatever. And maybe I'll go with a certain app and promote that app, or however, hitting restaurants, meeting people that, of course, live in nature, and not necessarily live in nature, but live in a country lifestyle, an outdoor lifestyle, because I do love the outdoor, and I do think covering the outdoors. And will I do photography? Will I do the classic AG the way I did before? It's possible, but I will not do anything that will I need to be monetized on YouTube. The way it's going at the moment is that you know, things change as time goes on. I think freedom is becoming America's becoming, in a way, some ways, not always, more of a free place, meaning nobody's wigging out over the simple stuff like they used to. I think before it used to be really difficult, but I think it's becoming more open-minded here, meaning like when you go to Europe and you're walking, see, now I can't talk about this, there's children coming up, so again, I can't talk, because America's still behind the values and some of the things that go on in Europe, Spain. People here are still kind of like, even though I said they're getting more open-minded, but they're just going to wait up in here for these people to pass and continue the thread, because I will forget. So I'm saying that people, I'll continue it in a minute. Remind me you're up. Just went up in this hill. I was trying to keep on the thread, because sometimes if I get off of it, I forget where I was at. So I'm still waiting. Just loaded with people. Yesterday it was totally non-people here. Seems to be a way to avoid people. Not as true anymore. Guys, so this is SJX AG, and we're probably I'll continue that rant another time. I'm not even sure. Anyway, we're headed back, and I was just talking about the differences between Europe and America, but I was also saying that it's getting a little bit more open-minded here, but not completely, of course. That's why even there I wanted to stop. You know, it's families here. This is family. It's a mix of family and stuff. When you walk here on the weekday, there's nobody here. Check out this cave, though, which is normal because there's a residential here. Lots of homes. People coming up here from their house. So let's get outside today. It's good. What I'm trying to say is, when you go to Europe, you go to Czech Republic, for example. They don't have a lot of beaches because there's no ocean. But Spain, there's ocean. But you can go to a public pool and people tan nude. Sometimes those people go and get a drink or get a coffee or some ice cream. So you could be there as an American, and you could be standing in line, and it's normal there. And nobody thinks anything's wrong. Whereas here, they flip out still for that. So there's no electronic lights up there. I wouldn't know. You can't tell unless you know. So we're gonna head down this trail here, and that's our way back. Other people are going that way. Maybe they're parked a little bit further down that way. They live that way. So we're gonna have a opportunity to talk maybe again about certain things that you can't, that aren't necessarily open. So yeah, I'm just saying, when you go there, there's no big deal. Man opens a door for, you see a man and open a door for you. Hi. He opens the door. You go on a tram. They have public transport everywhere, so you don't need a car. And there's stuff to do all the way till 4 in the morning. There's things open, and it's pretty fun. And everyone likes to walk. You don't have to find a walking partner. The whole country walks, because it's set up. The cities were built that way back then, because there weren't vehicles. Horses, some of them were built for vehicles. Of course, they have vehicle streets. They have highways for all that stuff. People have cars, but you don't have to have one in the city. So, and then you have, people, they don't watch much television. They go out on the weekends there. They have a thing called the weekend house. And they pick mushrooms when it's in season. And they just sit out in the camp zone where there's no electricity. Maybe nowadays they have solar. We didn't have these things that we have now, and they sit with friends all day and drink some beers, have a campfire and fish, or just talk. And people look at each other, not looking at their phone so much. They're still looking at their phone, but not as much as here. And so, but unless you've been there, you wouldn't know that. So now we're headed downhill. It's a little bit easier. Went up there earlier. Now we go down here. And so, they're not used to vloggers out here, because we don't really, yes, there's people vlogging, but there's not that many people doing it consistently. And it's fun to be consistent about it. But it's time. You have to watch it when you're shooting these things. You have to watch it if you're the editor, unless you have someone edit it for you. You have to watch it if you're the editor, maybe 3 times. At least one pass through, and then the second pass to see if you miss something. I do 2 pass. 1 pass, and then sometimes I make decisions. I cut out certain conversation because, and so here we are, headed up the hill. But yeah, you go over there just saying what you might expect, and it's great. It's wonderful. I love it. I really love it because I don't have to even think about editing any conversation at all at any moment. So what does that tell you? Almost every topic is okay. Nobody makes a big deal about it, in other words. But not completely. There's a lot of things about here that is unstoppable. What would that be? Well, the price of some things, if you know where to eat, get deals. Of course, you can get deals over there. But shopping, 24-hour shopping. Of course, they're starting to get it more and more, getting closer. They don't have Walmart. They don't have certain stores, chains that we have. Hi. Now, if you're walking through India, you're in Delhi, you're going to get Constant stop. I've seen the videos, and so you expect that, right? But if people go out in these areas, they're usually trying to be like, get away from, get into nature and enjoy it, the peace. Just depends on your mood. I love being social and talking, but I'm also trying to have something different. Be a different human being, of course. In my conversation, if you're watching it, say you watch somebody else and they're talking. This is all cool looking, we're almost back. I want to make sure that I'm talking about stuff that they're not talking about exactly. I'm not saying that we can't talk about the same things, of course you can, but if someone watches this to say, I like that, that's the kind of conversation I want. Those are things I'm curious about. Everyone's different, let's put it that way, and there's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, so some people are covering it in a way where they meet people, locals that live out in the country. Hello. Some people are meeting locals and doing it that way, and I like that too, but when you got it, like when you're way out there, we're living really close to civilization. Anyway, this is SJX AG, and I'll see you in the next video. We will be covering this again, and I'll talk more about the future and some of the history of SJX AG. It's a big house. Unbelievable. Looks like it. You can also hit Hindi Temple on an upcoming video.